welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something truly fascinating. We are looking at a radical, highly structured blueprint for utopian society originating directly from the founder of Lifechanyuan, Guide Xufeng. Now, this isn't just some abstract philosophical thought experiment. It's an incredibly detailed operational manual for an intentional community they call the home without marriage and family. We'll be going straight to the source material today to unpack the actual mechanics of this unique societal design. So, I want you to imagine this. What if a society entirely abolished marriage, private property, and all formal rules? Sounds a bit like a recipe for absolute chaos, doesn't it? Well, according to the text we're exploring today, taking away these secular structures is actually seen as the absolute prerequisite for achieving a perfect, harmonious, and highly civilized human existence. I mean, think about it. How much of our daily stress comes from managing those exact things? Money, relationships, and regulations. To really wrap our heads around this blueprint, we're going to hit 6 key areas: vision and admission, wealth, work, and property, redefining marriage and family, the ethics of free relationships, daily life and zero rules, and finally, how they handle facing the outside world. Let's jump in. Starting with Section 1, Vision and Admission. Basically, who actually gets to join this place? Well, the source text defines Lifechanyuan as much more than just a standard commune. It's described as a physical environment intentionally designed to realize the ideals of global saints and sages. It's built specifically for its members, who are referred to as Chanyuan celestials, to experience what Xufeng calls the life of the thousand-year world. So essentially, it's pitched as a working prototype of heaven right here on Earth. But what's really striking here is the massive barrier to entry. You literally cannot just wander in off the street. Guide Xufeng outlines 8 very strict standards. Sure, you have to believe in global sages like Jesus and Buddha, and you have to completely trust Xufeng himself as a guide. But look at the societal breaks required here. You must completely abandon your private property and marriage, pay off every single secular debt you owe to friends and family, and surrender your ego. Joining requires a clean break from your past life and total ideological alignment. Which brings us to Section 2, Wealth, Work, and Property. What does it mean to live without money? The home creates this brilliant economic inversion. Out in the secular world, we're constantly dealing with private property, paychecks that vary based on our status, and honestly, a lot of anxiety over just surviving. But inside, it's a completely moneyless internal economy. Food, housing, healthcare, it's all 100% public and guaranteed. The basic anxiety of survival is intentionally, systematically engineered right out of the equation. And the way they handle labor is a crucial part of this. Inside the community, each person only works one specialized trade, and it's supposed to be something they actually enjoy doing. Plus, there's absolute equality in job importance. The person mopping the floors and the person crunching numbers in the office, they are viewed as equally vital. They do get small allowances of pocket money for personal hobbies, but all the major welfare stuff, like on-site doctors and specialized care for the elderly, that's entirely absorbed by the community. Moving on to Section 3, Redefining Marriage and Family. This is where we see the absolute abolition of the traditional family unit. Get this, one of the most foundational rules of this society is that marriage simply does not exist, period. If a married couple wants to enter the home, both partners must consent to join. And the second they step inside, their formal marriage instantly dissolves. Now, they are perfectly free to continue their intimate relationship if they want to, but the legal, exclusive framework of being a husband or a wife, that is completely dismantled. And naturally, this leads to a profound shift in child-rearing. Think about the secular world. Pregnancy, financial costs, raising the kid, that's a huge burden on an individual family, which creates this strong concept of my child. In the home, all of those costs are shouldered by the collective. Kids are raised and educated together in community nurseries and schools. The blueprint specifically states that parents don't own their child. Rather, children are considered the treasure of all human beings. Okay, Section 4, Ethics of Free Relationships. Let's look at how they handle intimacy without those traditional bounds. So why do this? Guide Xufeng provides a very specific justification for this approach. He argues that because members have already paid off their societal debts, completely abandoned traditional family structures, and hold a pure mind, they are basically immune to the jealousy and emotional harm that free relationships usually cause out in the secular world. It's the ideological purity and physical isolation that supposedly makes the system perfectly safe for them. And the result of that pure-minded state? absolute sexual freedom. Consensual relationships, whether in pairs or even groups, are permitted, with the very strict, obvious exception of incest. But the source text makes a point to frame this not as promiscuity. Instead, it's viewed as a joyful game. It's considered a recreational activity that's meant to inspire gratitude to the greatest creator and foster a deeper love for life. Let's look at Section 5, Daily Life and Zero Rules. Because how do you actually live together without laws? Zero. That is the exact number of formal rules, laws, regulations, or religious disciplines governing the home. Zero. The community fundamentally believes that rules are just a flawed product of secular logic. Instead, they rely entirely on the spiritual resonance of their members. The idea is that because everyone has so deeply internalized the core Lifechanyuan values we talked about earlier, perfect order will just emerge naturally. No police, no enforcement needed. So what does a completely rule-free day actually look like? Well, beyond working their chosen trade, their daily routine puts a massive, massive emphasis on play. Alongside 30 minutes of exercise and a couple of hours studying scripture, members spent an extensive amount of time playing hide-and-seek, dancing, and even playing a game called Emperor for a Day, where one person literally gets to dictate the group's fun activities. The source material explains that this constant, childlike recreation is actually by design. It's meant to perfect the members' non-material structure, accelerating their journey to a heavenly state. Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, Facing the Outside World, the balance of isolation and connection. A big question with communities like this is, what happens if someone wants to leave? The source provides a surprisingly simple 3-step process. First, the community holds a farewell meeting for you. Second, they provide you with adequate travel expenses. And third, you part ways with tears. That's it. Now, because there's no private property, you do leave with absolutely none of the wealth you might have generated while there, but you are given safe passage out with zero coercion. And there's this fascinating dichotomy in how they interact with the world. The home is completely physically secluded, but intellectually, it is entirely open. Members are given personal computers with full internet access and international satellite TV. And specifically to counter any claims of being a dangerous cult, they maintain direct, open phone lines to local police departments. They want to guarantee total transparency and safety. To wrap up these core concepts, I want to share this really powerful analogy from Guy Zhufeng. When he addresses critics who claim the home will destroy traditional families, he compares the secular family unit to an old ox cart and Lifechanyuan to a car, train, and plane. He argues that dissolving the traditional family is just the inevitable result of civilized development. To him, complaining about Lifechanyuan is literally like clinging to outed technology when you could be flying. So as we've seen through Guy Zhufeng's incredibly detailed texts, Lifechanyuan completely upends how we think about property, marriage, rules, and raising children. But what do you think? Are these blueprints an inevitable evolution of a highly civilized society, or are they a radical experiment testing the absolute boundaries of utopian living? It definitely challenges our deep-seated assumptions about what humans actually need to live together peacefully. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the structures around you.